Welcome back to Columbus, Ohio. USA leading Germany 1-0 in their opening match at the SheBelieves Cup. Look at the conditions as well. You don't need a weatherman to see which way the wind blows. Apologies to Bob Dylan there. Log on to ESPNW.com for the SheBelieves message as well. She believes. Now, what is She Believes, I wonder? That's what everybody's asking. You can explain, Julie.
Well, beyond all these wonderful nuggets you see right there, I think the neatest part about it is it was actually started by the national team players themselves. They said, we want a tournament where we go out and don't just play and inspire, but we actually go out into the communities and tell girls they can be and do whatever they want to do, and they need to believe that. And speaking of that, Julie Ertz, when she was visiting her husband, Zach Ertz, who was playing in the Super Bowl in Minnesota, decided she'd take a little road trip and do just that. She'd go out and surprise one of the Development Academy teams right there.
All right, we are arriving to Shattuck St. Mary's, our girls' development academy. We're going to surprise them and do a little meet and greet in the absolutely freezing Minneapolis. So let's go. Wow, this is crazy. Hi, guys. Hi. Thanks for letting me join and watch you guys. I hear that you guys are from all over. That's crazy. Are you guys used to the cold? Because I'm trying to get used to it, but yeah, thank you so much for having me.
So ahead of this training, I was told nothing. We were just told that we were going to scrimmage the 17s, and then the 15s were going to show up, and that we were just going to play.
I heard there was a surprise, but I thought it was a rumor. I don't know, fitness maybe?
When growing up, it's kind of crazy. Like the U.S. women's team wasn't as accessible as kind of it is now to be able to watch games. And right after they won the World Cup, they ended up stopping in Arizona. And so that was kind of like the first time I got to see in person Julie Foudy and all those girls that I could watch. After that moment, I dreamed about it. I kind of just took the plunge and said that, like, I want to put all the eggs in the basket. I want to do this forever. I love it, and I love playing, and it's the best sport ever. Well, I think the biggest challenge is continually to try and get better. You know, that's your goal. And it takes a lot of hard work. I would love to win another World Cup, but what we did in 2015 isn't going to be enough to win it in 2019, and we know that. But I think it's continually to push yourself. It's those days that you're tired that it's really important to push yourself and make new goals, and to accomplish something so great, it shouldn't be easy. And I think that's probably the biggest one.
Whenever I see them play, I'm in awe. They're amazing. They're just an inspiration. I know it takes so much work, and it proves that you can get to that point, because I know they face so much adversity, and it makes me feel amazing.
All right, Shattuck on 3. 1, 2, 3. Shattuck! Is that loud enough? That was perfect. Okay, good.
What a great thrill for those girls, and well done to Julie Ertz as well. By the way, log on to ESPNW.com for the most extensive in-depth coverage of stories surrounding women's sports, including Graham Hayes on injuries press pause on Jill Ellis youth movement, back to work for Lindsey Vonn, and the U.S. women's hockey team continuing their victory tour.
That's right. They're coming to us on Sunday. We're going to get them in the booth, I think, as well. They're going to go to the game.
Yeah, we got a couple of the stars, I think, going to be joining us when we return. Second half action from this game here.
They don't want these coming out. Mexican spices, nacho cheese sauce.
Critics and fans agree nacho fries are a masterpiece. It'll change the way you look at fries, craves The Hollywood Reporter. Nacho fries, now serving at a Taco Bell near you. Bring home the taste sensation, Taco Bell's Nacho Fries. Now with delicious bonus content. The Nacho Fries $5 box set, now serving at a Taco Bell near you.
Welcome back. USA leading Germany by a goal to nil in their opening game at the SheBelieves Cup in wintry conditions here at the Mapfre Stadium in Columbus, Ohio. What about that first half, Julie? Thoughts?
I thought it was back and forth. The momentum shifted a few times towards Germany, but it was hard to get anything going with the weather. And Megan Rapinoe, she really had that one good look at goal. She capitalizes on it. And against Germany, you know you're not going to get a lot of good looks. So good for her to actually finish that one. And let's take a look at those highlights. And here it is. Off the Nair punt, Morgan with the flick, and Germany just caught super flat. No one bouncing, covering. And Rapinoe is certain to push this one away.
Goalie got something on it, not enough. Does Nair get an assist, by the way, on that goal, the goalkeeper? And that's nearly an own goal by Kelly O'Hara, isn't it?
Yeah, that she bounces that one off Marzan's leg. And then the other look for Rapinoe when she's just whipping in that free kick. Schultz gets a hand on it. But not a ton of looks in this weather. But now, mind you, the U.S. with the wind in its face for the second half.
Which could make things a little bit interesting. It really could. So let's see if the USA can pick up 3 points to start the SheBelieves Cup. The second half is coming right up. Welcome back to a chilly MAPFRE Stadium in Columbus, Ohio, with the USA leading Germany by 1-0 at half-time in this meeting between the world champions and Olympic champions. France were really all at sea as well. Those were the first 2 goals. It ended 4-1 in the end. Jodie Taylor scored and Fran Kirby as well. And then Teeny got one back for France at the end. Here come the US starting the second half. And again, the wind is a factor. Horan with the shot. And it won't reach the goal. That just about sums it up, doesn't it? It wouldn't get to the goal. Well, in my very modest career playing this game, I can remember playing on some windy Parks pitches like this. Absolutely horrible to play in. So difficult.
Yeah, the English team was in all short sleeves, no gloves.
Yeah, they were.
They're like, this is a summer day.
It is quite outlandish. Here's Megan Rapinoe for the US.
It is winter in the Midwest.
Well, you've got to expect it, really, haven't you? When you've got tournaments on at this stage of the year. Spring hasn't sprung, I think we can say that. Pop. This is worth another look from earlier. Lindsay Horan tries to shoot.
Germany just looked at it astonished. What happened there? That was Hendrick.
Well, I'll tell you what, the greatest sports star Columbus, Ohio has ever produced, Jack Nicklaus, would struggle to play golf in this, and of course he is the ultimate master.
Look at Schultz, can't get it to stay on the line either.
It's getting worse as well. Subtitle this game, Gone with the Wind, I think.
Stop. Going back to those England and France highlights, a lot of Fran Kirby in there. What a game I thought she had for England.
Ran it, didn't she?
Yeah, sitting in that number 10, just linking players. Finished one at the end herself.
Bounces for O'Hara to get it away. Not very far, though. I think when it's like this, basically, really, I think the coaches are thinking, let's just try and get the win and get out of here and on to the next game. I wonder whether the Germans have spoken at halftime about trying some long shots, wind-assisted long shots. It sounds pretty crude, but it's definitely something you've got to think about.
Absolutely. And especially with the rain. Hard to hold on to all these things. But you can see every time Nair trying to clear it, it's just whipping back at her.
This could be quite a big half, I think, in the career of Elisa Neyer. She might have to pull off a couple of saves from long-range shots with a lot of power and velocity on them. Laid back by Kammer there to Hendrik. Meyer down the line. Here's Svenja Hoot. Not a problem that time for Neyer, who plays for Chicago Red Stars. 2017, by the way, was the first year in a long time with no appearance by Hope Solo between the posts for the US. Well, she did run for the president's job, didn't she?
She did.
Little injury for Mallory Pugh.
She had a shoulder surgery at the end of 2016.
Seems to be okay. No problems so far for Tiana Davidson. You wouldn't guess this was her second cap back there. She looks like she's been playing in that defence for a while. Ertz. Buran. The goalkeeper judges that well.
She sure did. Scholt, that's not easy.
Taken over from the long-serving and distinguished keeper Nadina Angara.
Here's another look at the Haran goal, and look at, she's whipping this across. You just don't know with the wind where that's going to go. Not a bad idea by Lindsay Horan, but good hands by Scholt in this weather.
Tiana Davidson, wide for Kelly O'Hara. Davidson, as Julie was telling you, playing with her idol in that defence. Babette Peter needing a bit of treatment there, the experienced central defender for Germany. We certainly don't want anything untoward happening to her. 6 substitutes, by the way, are allowed by the teams in this tournament. And so far there hasn't been one, which means we're going to get a mass of them later on. Here's Julie Ertz, now established as a midfield player. Dramatic late goal from her against Brazil in a thriller in the Tournament of Nations. I think that was the first goal she'd scored with her married name, wasn't it?
Mm-hmm. That was her first of the 7 that she had that run with as well. That was a huge game for the U.S., down 3-1. That would have been their 4th loss in the same calendar year.
The ball was given away there by Marichan, of all people, to Mallory Pugh. Rapinoe's in again here, and just had to check back at the vital moment. Big opportunity there for the US to add to their lead. Rapinoe to Julie Ertz. Rapinoe again. And pretty hard to keep that on frame.
Another look back to Mallory Pugh picking this one up. Again, wind playing a factor, picking that up, and a nice thread. Rapinoe's got to hit that first time, though. Right back across the goal.
She'll be regretting she didn't do that, I think.
And that's the difference in why you play the SheBelieves with the top 3 other teams in the world, because when you do that against a weaker team, you have the time to make that mistake. Against these teams, you just can't do that. That's the second time we've seen Carly Lloyd in the first half not pulling the trigger earlier on a good look. And Germany is just there too quickly to close them down.
Here's Pugh. Good idea to try to get the early ball in, but who was that back defending? Alexandra Popp, the striker. They need her further forward, really. Lloyd Play it down now. Free kick around the edge of the box there. Morgan goes tumbling. It was outside. And there is going to be a change coming up now. Lena Gersling, experienced midfield player, coming on.
Good call by the referee. It was outside.
It's Babette Peter, by the way, who's had to come off. That's Kemmer's challenge again. Just outside the box.
Think about this if you're Schultz, though, having to deal with this.
It's tricky to get that ball up and then down again, though.
If you keep this low, it's going to move, though. It's going to rise if you get it up, though. That wind's coming right at Rapinoe and Horan's face.
Even playing into the teeth of this gale, the US have been quite impressive, maybe even more impressive so far in the second half. Two in on the plot here. It's Rapinoe. And that was the problem. Got the ball up and over that wall, but it's hard to get it to dip back down again from that sort of range.
Yeah, with the wind coming at it. Especially.
Horan has been a strong presence in the midfield, winning that ball again. Rapinoe. Defence looked a little bit at 6s and 7s, but Leonie Meyer was alert enough, but the Germans giving the ball away. The US dominating in this phase of the game. Morgan. And Pop's dropping deeper and deeper, isn't she? Which is good as a team ethic, helping out her defence, but they really need her in a forward position. They're one down in this game. Need to find a goal from somewhere. Julie Ertz is hurt, briefly anyway. Here's Rapinoe again.
And we're seeing something that the U.S. I don't think did enough of in the first half, is that pressure when they lose the ball. And you see that Germany unable to keep possession, giving it away quickly. And what happens is the U.S. then picks it up in their own attacking third when they do that.
Morgan. Back to Horan. And then Ertz's header. And then Carly Lloyd still might drop. Hacked away by Hendrick in the end for the Germans. But the US again threatening a second.
Carly Lloyd with a good look. On her left foot as well. Right at Schultz, though. She's not going to miss that one.
A couple of opportunities to add to her 98 international goals, Carly Lloyd. It's going to be another corner off Verena Feist. At the moment, the United States bossing the match. Rapinoe, they were looking for the flick on the near post there with Julie Ertz. Horan. O'Hara. There's Marichan, who's rather disappeared from things after the first 20 minutes, where she seemed to be the key player in that midfield. They just look a bit lost in the game at the moment, Germany. Is that fair?
Yeah, and I give the United States credit, though, because I think it's that pressing that has got them a little bit out of their rhythm. They didn't do it as much in the first half. The United States allowed Germany to play out a little bit more. Now, I'm sure that was a talk at halftime of let's get back to that pressing game. And especially with the wind, coming at your face, you don't want to be dealing with Germany sizing up long balls.
Morgan, he might hold up for it quite nicely. Fuller for Rapinoe. Hendrick got a block in. But that, the wind worked in the US's favour, even though they're playing against it, because that ball just held up very, very neatly for the forward line.
There's the pressure again and the wind, and they're attacking third. Germany just can't get a breath.
Look how quickly they're trying to win this ball back, even though the German defence has the ball. That's very much a tactic, and it has to be got right as well. It has to be a coordinated press, doesn't it?
And they were brilliant at this against Denmark, and Denmark kept trying to play out of it, and you just didn't see it that much in the first half. I thought maybe that was a weather-dictated thing. But clearly here, that was a discussion at halftime of let's push those front three to start pressing.
It takes extreme fitness to do it. Of course, it's been affected very well by a number of teams around the world in the men's game as well, notably Liverpool.
That's who Jill Ellis quotes all the time when she talks about it.
And she's a Manchester United fan as well, isn't
How
she?
dare her do that?
Yeah. Better whisper that if she ever goes up into the northwest of England.
She does talk about how they lose balls on Liverpool, and she loves how they just chase things.
Here's Alex Morgan trying to hold it up. And the decision goes the US way. Hendrick's not that impressed with that. She thought it was 6 of one, half a dozen of the other. I did actually as well.
Morgan has her arm around it as well.
Yeah.
She's got her wrapped with that left arm a little bit.
Yeah, I think the arm around the shoulder was probably what persuaded the referee to make the decision she did. Here's Pugh. If everything goes to plan for Mallory Pugh, she could be around the US team for the next 12 years or so. Maybe even a bit longer than that. Here's Dabritz, who scored 5 goals in World Cups and Olympics so far in her career. She's only got 8 altogether, so a big occasion player, obviously. Jill Ellis was saying yesterday that she thinks this tournament is the most brilliant women's tournament in the world outside the Global Championships.
When you have 4 of these caliber teams playing, I don't disagree.
And it's much more meaningful, isn't it, when you're 15 months out from a World Cup to be having games like this rather than beating countries who are way down the pecking order 8-9-0.
And, you know, the disadvantage the U.S. has is they don't have all these good European qualifiers to train them before the World Cup. And look at France. France doesn't have any World Cup qualifiers because, of course, they're the host of the next World Cup. So this is huge for France, huge for the United States. And that's really why this tournament was started in the first place, is we've got to be playing top teams every single year, and we have to host a tournament to ensure that.
Here's Hendrick with Babette Peter now off the pitch for Germany. That is a loss with their most experienced defender out of the way. Babette Peter was actually in the German squad when they won the World Cup in 2007. She's been around that long with the team. It's overplayed down the line. That won't be a problem. A reminder about Germany's 2 World Cups. 2003, beating the US along the way in Portland, beating Sweden in the final, and Brazil in 2007 to retain the championship. But not since.
You have to keep talking about that Portland game.
We're trying to be fair here, aren't we?
Still scarred by it. Wasn't a 3-0 game, by the way.
but lots of other US successes as well. 91 semi-final, 99 quarter-final, 2015 semi-final. Dahlman. US are going to make a change any moment and bring on Morgan Bryan, who's a teammate of Jennifer Marchand of Germany at Lyon. She's had her injury problems, hasn't she, Morgan Bryan?
Lots of injury problems. We add to that list. I was talking about Rose Lavelle earlier, and Morgan Bryan has been coming back for a long time, but by all accounts, she's healthy again and doing well at Lyon. Maybe playing right alongside her teammate right here, Marazan, number 10 for Germany. Look at that. They're going to match up against each other.
Morgan Bryan only played 6 games for the US in 2017. The US trying to maintain a fast tempo to proceedings. Bryan's on the chase. Hendrick had to win that ball. A little bit of help back there. Leonie Meyer. No problems again for Naya. That defence with no Becky Sauerbrunn doing pretty well. Feist doing the defending here for Germany under pressure from the teenager Mallory Pugh.
And look at that. That Pugh pressure wins the US team a corner.
As the latest squall of sleet falls over the Mapfre Stadium. Rapinoe, away by Marchand, wide by Smith, in by Rapinoe. That took a deflection on the way. Gersling tried to get it away. Pugh! And the goalkeeper grateful to collapse onto that.
How good a save is that, though? In traffic, she hits it well, Pugh. Schultz holds right onto that one. Look at all the traffic in front of her. These are hard to see. Often squirrel underneath you. It's a good save by the German goalkeeper.
To deny Mallory Pugh, adding to stats that are the best for an American teenager since the great Christine Lilly. Nothing doing for Pop this time. They haven't really manufactured a single chance for their best goal scorer, have they, so far?
Mallory Pugh, whenever you ask her, you know, at such a young age, how are you so confident? She's like, I don't know, I just play. To be 19 again.
I'll tell her you're doing impressions of her on air.
My favorite Pugh story is when they're in the middle of some intense, heated contract negotiation and she's just on the team. I think she was 17. I said, Mallory, are you sitting in on these meetings and learning about, you know, all that goes on with contract negotiations?
It's offside here.
She goes, no, I was shopping online for a prom dress. Why would I be doing that?
Making their second change, Germany's substitution.
And she'll learn not to make those kind of revelations, I suppose, as she goes on. Here's a change coming up for Germany, bringing on Lina Magul. And she's going to replace Linda Dahlman, who's not really been able to make too much of an impression on that left-hand side. So Magul's on for her. Marchand Back to Gersling, who's taking a place in central defence with Peter now missing, up to Alexandra Pop. Hoot.
That Hoot-O'Hara matchup has been a great one all evening.
Yeah, there's a few verbals between the two of them there.
Giving each other a bit of talk.
Just felt the weight of O'Hara's boot. A little bit of stuff going on between those two. Because most of the German team can speak perfect English. Not sure the reverse is true, is it?
No.
Coming up to 70 minutes on the clock. Even a bit of snow around now as well. Something like weather forecasters tonight, aren't we? Our only defence is it has been a big factor. Lovely piece of work in the middle of the pitch by Julie Ertz. Mallory Pugh taking on Verena Feist. Good battle between those two. Pretty quick, the German left back, though, isn't she? Certainly matching strides with Pugh. She's certainly not come off second best. It's been a good battle.
There's the pressure again. The pickup again by Ertz in midfield. Germany just unable to build out of it with that pressure.
Well, it can be a winning tactic. A lot of teams won't be able to cope with it. The difficulty is if a team can get the ball away from the press and into space in another area of the pitch. That's the way, in theory, to play against that kind of tactic.
And that weak side is wide open.
If it's successful, it can look as if one team's got about 15 players on the pitch. It's Morgan Bryant just getting up a bit gingerly, and here's another interesting change coming up here. Savannah McCaskill, who plays in New Jersey for Sky Blue, won her first cap against Denmark, only 21. She's another exciting youngster to look at. Julia, she's had this injury lately, which is, I think, why they're just making that change. So on comes McCaskill. You like her, don't you?
I do. I like her a lot. I've seen her over her years playing at South Carolina and watched her in the College Cup again this year. And she's a player. It's interesting where they're going to put her. It looks like they're going to put her in that number 10 spot in midfield. She played up high in college, but she's a player that's just so good tactically. Great soccer brain, links players, and has pace.
That ball just won't hold up at all down that side. No chance at all for Debritz to catch that one. There is Savannah McCaskill, who's only played 20 minutes before this for the United States in that January game against Denmark. Not bad, is it? Cap number 2 against Germany. Attendance tonight, by the way, is officially 14,591, which isn't too bad, given what a horrible night.
14,000 brave souls.
Yeah.
Braver than I would have been.
Is Rapinoe, whose goal still separates the sides. Debritz. Marochan. Germany have been second best so far, but they may feel they're still very much in this argument. One of those situations where just one moment can change the whole momentum and dynamic. Other than that semi-final win, Germany have only ever had one other win on US soil, and that's going all the way back to 1993 in a friendly.
I know, that stat is remarkable, actually, when I saw that.
And although they're big rivals, head-to-head, it's USA 23 wins, Germany 4 with 7 draws. Just can't get anything going as they try to move forward, the Germans. And here we are, moving on towards, what, 17 minutes to go or something. Marashan and then Kemmer. Look at the red shirts swarming around that ball. 4, 5 red shirts, all within about 7 yards of the ball there.
And it's working.
Yep. Hoot just fell nicely for her. Deflection on the cross. Dahl Kemper got it away. That ought to be a free kick, and it will be. Kelly O'Hara and Alexandra Pop having a conversation which may not be it's a yellow card, in fact, for Pop. First of the evening.
This is Morgan Bryan.
It was clumsy, wasn't it, to put it mildly, really. Can't have too many complaints, Alexandra Pop, who, by the way, is training to be a zookeeper.
I saw that.
Yeah, training to be a zookeeper.
It's like, that is interesting. She says it helps with her mental state to go and watch the animals between games.
I think that's quite
Maybe
refreshing, don't you?
That. Yeah. Good to see Morgan Bryan still out there. It's wonderful to see her out healthy on the field again. The last thing you want for her is another setback.
Here is Pop. Usually does something quite intelligent with the ball. Dabritz this time, almost invited to shoot here. US defence just rather gave her a couple of yards. That can be a mistake. Sunday at noon Eastern on ESPN2, United States taking on France as this She Believes tournament continues. That's from Harrison, New Jersey. And then on Wednesday on ESPN News, US's final game will be against England from Orlando. That's ESPN News next Wednesday. Coverage beginning at 7 Eastern for that one, also streaming live on the ESPN app. So lots of good women's soccer to come in this tournament over the next few days. It's the 3rd year of the She Believes Cup. The US won it the first year, but last year only 1 win and 2 defeats, including 3-0 against France. There were a few worries at that stage, but Jill Ellis was experimenting with 3 at the back, wasn't she, around that time, and basically it didn't work. Good turn by McCaskill there.
I was looking also at the 2 different rosters. You had only 2 starters, Nair and Carly Lloyd, who started last year against Germany, who started tonight as well. Not a lot on that one, but U.S. drawing the foul. McCaskill drawing the foul in a position very dangerous for Schultz, the goalkeeper.
Lindsay Horan to take this as snow just starts to settle. Don't think we're going to have anything quite like the snow classico from fame from Denver, that US World Cup qualifier against Costa Rica. Got about 3 inches deep, and the game still got finished that night. Goodness knows how. Horan to take it here. It's always just going wide. Another change.
And
Casey
look at the wind
Short
on this. Mine did had a little bend on it, but. And I think if you're in that situation, you got to think, I just need to get it on frame, give myself a chance. Given how swirly it is right there.
So Hara who comes off. So a defender for a defender. Casey Short coming on for her 20th cap tonight. Young lady from Naperville, Illinois. The world champions beating the Olympic champions here so far. Morgan round the corner nearly found Rapinoe. It was a good idea. Flicked inside by Hoot. Pop picks it up. Looks like she wants to play almost like a number 10, doesn't it, these days?
Back.
Further and further.
That's what happens when you're not getting the ball up front, isn't it? Boy, the front three for the United States tonight. Rapinoe, Alex Morgan, and Mallory Pugh have put in a shift. 80 minutes in, and those three on both sides of the ball, which is why Germany is just having a heck of a time getting any rhythm in this second half with the wind at their back. In large part, the pressure those front three are putting on them.
Not many chances for Alex Morgan to add to her run of goals, 8 in the last 8 matches. So far anyway, the US will feel they need another one just to put this game to bed. Otherwise there might be a late rally from the Germans. Oh, that's a horrible looking ball. Although Marichan made something of it. Feist plays it in, flags up, there'll be an offside here.
Davidson right in the thick of it again. You mentioned it earlier, Ian, but mind you, this is a player who's a sophomore in college and only her second cap playing the defending Olympic champion and one of the all-time greats in Alexander Pop. And so far having a fabulous game.
It's Pop again, once again, in her own half. I bet if you did one of those heat maps to see where she's touched the ball, it would be mostly in her own half in this half anyway. The long-range effort goes wide from Lina Magul.
This is a nice little ball seam, and Magul, no one steps to her, and so she thinks, why not? If I'm going to have that kind of space. And that's a good look. That ball just didn't want to bend at all. Knuckled down instead.
The Germans, by the way, have brought on Hazret Kayikci, who scored 4 in 26 minutes in a game last year. Mind you, it was against the Faroe Islands, an 11-0 win. It's a foul on Rapinoe from Tabea Kemmer, who gets a yellow card. It wasn't her first offence. Second yellow for the German team.
Yellow card caution issued to Germany, number 22, Tabea Kemmer.
It's just sloppy, isn't it?
She used to be a more attacking type of player, apparently, Kemmer, but now used as a defensive midfield player and at the moment helping out in that defence as well. She's gone into the book. Here's Rapinoe. Forward by Casey Short, versatile defender with very good recovery speed. But it'll be hard to get a start in that defence, won't it? There's a few contenders there now.
Yeah, for so long we saw Jill Ellis rotating that outside back position.
short. Just over 6 minutes remaining. The scoreline exactly as it was between these two countries in the SheBelieves Cup last year when Lynn Williams got the winner. She's part of the squad, not on the pitch so far anyway tonight. Morgan Bryan doing some nice work.
Again, U.S. loses the ball. The pressure by the entire team to win it back.
Spread wide here for Svenja Hoot. Took a deflection, no problem at all for Naya, who's had a comparatively easy night so far.
And she's been making good decisions. Off her line quickly when she needs to, holding balls off deflections like that. Look at that punt, straight up and straight back down. But I think her decision making has been good tonight. When to come, when not to come.
It's absolutely vital to have a good goalkeeper, isn't it? You don't win too much if the goalkeeper's a bit on the dodgy side. Kemmer to get that across goal, and there's the danger. It'll only take a second, really, for the Germans to grab an equaliser. Davidson doing some good work back there. She's been solid.
And these are the ones that cause problems because it's coming in. The wind blowing at the U.S. goal here.
Emily Sonnet is going to come on to replace Megan Rapinoe. Big ovation for the goal scorer. Obviously a fan's favourite. And on comes Sonnet, who plays in Australia when she's not playing in the United States for Portland. Comes the corner kick. Morgan Bryan back defending. Taylor Smith trying to bring it away. Pops won it back for Germany. It's never going to hold up that kind of ball on the wind. Nothing that Kaichi could do about it. Marichan forward. But I think if I was Steffi Jones, the German coach, even allowing for the conditions, I'd be disappointed by the performance they've put up here. They've never really threatened in any kind of significant way. That's not to say they won't grab a late equaliser, because that's a tale as old as time.
Yeah, they had a 10-minute, maybe 15-minute stretch in the middle of that first half where they started to look threatening, and that's about it.
We'll give the US credit. Really, it's been a high-energy performance, and the pressing's worked. So Jill Ellis will be happy with that. She'll also know, though, that there's a bit more work to do.
With Sonnet coming in, too, she's gone to a 5-back, so they're playing like a 5-3-2 right now. Probably a little worried about those flighted balls coming in, too, in these final few minutes.
England impressive earlier on, 4-1 win over a disappointing France side, and France are the US's next opponents on Sunday at the Red Bull Arena. Join us for that one from noon on Sunday. ESPN2.
I think overall, though, if you're Jill Ellis, you're this team, probably think maybe you should have had another in here, but you have to be pleased given the conditions. Good work there by Casey Short. I think it has to be admitted that the wind has kind of ruined it as a spectacle, hasn't it? Yeah.
It's disappointing for the fans, really. All credit to them, turning out on a gusty, even snowy, chilly old night. Of course, the locals fighting hard to try to save the crew and keep them in Columbus and not move to Austin, Texas. You'll be hearing a lot more about that one.
A lot of history in this stadium.
Yeah, a lot of history. It would, I mean, nothing against the great town of Austin, Texas whatsoever from me, but I think it would be a tragedy given the history around Columbus, Ohio of this game that if they were going to lose their club. Chants of Save the Crew have been going around among some of the fans tonight as well. Just thinking of the Crew, we bumped into Frankie Hayduke, one of the American legends, yesterday. He was skateboarding around the car park and showing us pictures of him water skiing in a local creek as well.
He's
so
a beaut.
he still looks as fit as a fiddle. Deflects behind for a corner kick here, and there's just a little bit of a worry here for the American fans. Lynn Williams, who got the winner to replace Alex Morgan very late on.
Fifth change, USA substitution, leaving the game.
Number 11. I put 11 in the car.
Well, I think there's been a change here. I think they've made a mistake. yeah. I think they put the wrong number on the board. It's going to be Mallory Pugh who makes way. It's very late, isn't it? We're in stoppage time. Important the defenders just keep their concentration because there's been a delay while all that kerfuffle's been going on. It's going to be 3 minutes of stoppage time at the end of this. And a German corner with a chance for them to rescue the match here. They've probably been waiting a good 90 seconds. The referee doesn't know whether to make the substitution first. The timing's not great here, you'd have to say, for the US with all of this.
Now making their fifth change, USA substitution, leaving game. So Mallory Pugh.
You see Hoot right in front of Nair trying to cause problems in front of goal.
Here comes the corner kick. And it skids off ahead and goes behind for a throw. The Germans unable to cash in. It was hardly ideal, that, for the goalkeeper and the American defence. We kept waiting about 90 seconds. They had to stay switched on. Short can get it away. Williams is chasing it. Kaichi flags up. It was Mallory Pugh who made way. Eventually they sorted out the electronics on that board. Couldn't write it, could you, really? 2018. Looks like there might even be another change. Ali Long is going to come on with the clock showing 92 minutes plus. Whether they're trying to wind down the clock, I don't know. Kaichi to lay it inside. Is there one last moment in this for Germany? That would be the US fear. Referee takes a little glance at her watch. Kemmer. And they're still going to make this change. Whether Ali Long even gets a kick of the ball would be pretty much open to debate. There are +3. She's going to come on with over 93 minutes on the clock. This time Alex Morgan does come off.
She's replaced by number 10, substitution in the 90th minute.
Is that a tactical masterpiece, do you think? Hoot to lay it inside. And the goalkeeper Naya will grab it, and that ought to be that, really. Just a little flurry, no more really, from Germany in the closing stages. Hasn't been pretty, but the United States have been the better side tonight. I think that's pretty much beyond dispute. Gersling coming across with the challenge.
The U.S. will remember they had this same result in the first game of last year's She Believes, and then went on to lose the next two. So that's going to be in the back of their mind, that they're going to make sure those next two are better.
Yeah, they lost 3-0 to France, who they play on Sunday, and 1-0 against England. So we're hoping history doesn't repeat itself. I have a feeling it won't. This looks a pretty strong team the US have. But we'll see, won't we? Can't be too much more of this. Just a bit added on for the substitutions, which is only right and correct. That's what the referees are told they have to do. Marichan picks it up. I just think the Germans have lacked a bit of devil in their attacking work tonight. Pops played most of the game very deep. It's all over. The US do start with a win in, well, pretty horrendous conditions here in Columbus, Ohio tonight. Steffi Jones, who was a legendary player, won the World Cup. Knows Jill Ellis very, very well.
Great shot.
Yeah, great shot, yeah. Look, that says it. Everybody's having to wrap up very, very warm. USA beating Germany then by 1-0 in Columbus, Ohio tonight. A perfect start, even if it was in pretty ugly conditions.
Introducing the new Infiniti QX80. Infiniti, empower the drive.
On Sunday at noon on ESPN2, United States women's national team in action again, taking on France from the Red Bull Arena in Harrison, New Jersey, in the She Believes Cup. France won last year's She Believes Cup, of course. And then on Wednesday, ESPN News for the USA game against England, coming up from the Orlando Stadium. That's at 7 Eastern. Tonight here in Columbus, Ohio, the United States have got 3 points at the start of the She Believes Cup, beating Germany 1-0 with Megan Rapinoe scoring. Coming up next, it's Pac-12 college basketball as Oregon takes on Washington State. For our entire crew tonight, thanks for joining us. This has been a presentation of ESPN. We're going off to warm up a bit, Julie Foudy and I. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you soon, on Sunday in fact. Bye for now.